Ron DeSantis officially announces that he is running for president. It was a monumental announcement that we all knew was coming. Let's be real. We all knew that Ron DeSantis was going to run for president. It was just a matter of when he was going to announce and how he was going to announce and with whom he was going to announce. And of course, he chose to do it on Twitter with Elon Musk, which I thought was really cool. I thought was a really good idea. Now, this is what I thought before it actually happened, before the tech issues, which we'll talk about in just a second. But I thought it was really cool because of my very strong feelings about the media landscape, my very strong feelings that cable news is not just a dying industry, but its death has become accelerated since the firing of Tucker Carlson. We are now seeing the beginning of the end of cable news and the future of media, of course. It's not that conservative media is going to disappear. It's that conservative media, the future of conservative media is right here. The future of conservative media is new media. The future of conservative media is independent journalists, independent creators offering you in the marketplace their goods and services. We are the future of media. And so I was excited to see DeSantis pick Twitter because this is really cool. A beacon of free speech, not cable news. But then, of course, we tuned into this space, this Twitter space. And by the way, thank you for everyone who joined us. We had a watch party, a live stream on the Liz Wheeler Show community on Locals, and it was super fun hanging out with you. We ended up hanging out for 2 solid hours, the first half an hour of which was just technical issues on the part of Twitter, Elon Musk and DeSantis. And I got to tell you, as someone who works in broadcast, I mean, you work with technology, you have tech issues, right? Like, it doesn't matter how professional you are, how premier your equipment is, this just happens. It's like operating your computer. You can do the same thing every day and logging into your email, and then one day you're just like, what is going on with this thing? It locks you out. That's how it is working with technology. So I was kind of amused at first when they had all these technology issues, just because it's kind of nice to know that it happens to other people. But then, of course, you start feeling, I started feeling sympathy for them, almost sympathy pains. You know how sometimes husbands, when wives are in labor, they get like abdominal pain, like similar to contractions, just out of sympathy for their wives? I started feeling like sympathy pains for Ron DeSantis's communications team, because this is just your worst nightmare. It turned out okay. Of course, they ended up switching which Twitter account was hosting the space. We all saw it. That's fine. Still, this is going to be the primary thing that the left attacks DeSantis for, because it gave the left the perfect excuse not to focus on what DeSantis actually said in his opening statements, what he said during the question and answer, which was really interesting. I enjoyed listening to it. There were 3 things that I pulled out of this entire 2-hour broadcast that I think are the 3 most crucial things that Ron DeSantis said or spoke about. So I want to talk about that tonight. It's kind of something that there were so many people interested in what DeSantis was going to say in his announcement that it actually broke one of the biggest social media platforms in the country. It broke the servers. It couldn't handle that amount of traffic. That's pretty cool. When it comes to what DeSantis is offering versus what Trump is offering, now the race is real, right? It's only been hypothetical or an anticipated race up until now. We all kind of knew that Ron DeSantis was running. We just didn't know when. He's been pretty coy about it. He said, I'm not even really in the race. I'm not a real candidate. Whenever anyone brings up the polls showing Trump being ahead of him, well, now it's real. Now he's running against Donald Trump. So all these attacks that Donald Trump has been levying at Ron DeSantis, now we're going to see how Ron DeSantis is going to respond. But his opening statement, his pitch to the American people saying, listen, I'm running for president. I want your vote, and here's why. It was quite something. Take a listen to this.
Well, I am running for president of the United States to lead our great American comeback. Look, we know our country's going in the wrong direction. We see it with our eyes, and we feel it in our bones. Our southern borders collapse. Drugs are pouring into the country. Our cities are being hollowed out by spiking crime. The federal government's making it harder for the average family to make ends meet and to attain and maintain a middle-class lifestyle. And our president, well, he lacks vigor, flounders in the face of our nation's challenges, and he takes his cues from the woke mob. I don't think it has to be this way. American decline is not inevitable. It is a choice. And we should choose a new direction, a path that will lead to American revitalization. We must restore sanity to our nation. This means embracing fiscal and economic sanity. Stop pricing hardworking Americans out of a good standard of living through inflationary borrow, print, and spending policies. And please embrace American energy independence. This also means replacing the woke mind virus with reality, facts, and enduring principles. Merit must trump identity politics. We must return normalcy to our communities. America's a sovereign country. Our borders must be respected. We cannot have foreigners pouring into our country illegally by the millions. We cannot allow drug cartels to poison our population with fentanyl. Public deserves safe communities, and law and order must be maintained in American cities. We can't have inmates running the asylum, and we must reject attacks on the men and women of law enforcement. We also must reestablish integrity in our institutions. This includes the military. I'm proud to be a Navy veteran, an Iraq veteran, and I revere our services. But when revered institutions like those in our military are more concerned with matters not central to the mission, whether it's global warming or gender ideology and pronouns, morale declines and recruiting suffers. And you need to eliminate these distractions, and we need to get focused on the core mission. We also cannot have true constitutional government if the most significant issues are decided by the whims of unelected bureaucrats rather than the people's elected representatives. Reestablishing integrity in our institutions means we must reinvigorate our constitutional system by returning the government to its rightful owners, we the people. No social or economic transformation without representation. Truth needs to be our foundation. Common sense can no longer be an uncommon virtue. And in Florida, we proved it could be done. We chose facts over fear, education over indoctrination, law and order over rioting and disorder. We held the line.
I mean, that's pretty good, right? It's pretty good. I know the criticism from even some people on the right was that it was very scripted. It wasn't off the cuff. And here's what I will say. There is a little bit of an incongruency when you're on a Twitter space, because a Twitter space is supposed to be like a bunch of people just sitting around talking. It's a very casual setting. That being said, a presidential announcement, when you're announcing that you're running for president, actually shouldn't be a casual announcement. It should be something that you've put a lot of time and a lot of thought and a lot of effort and preparation into preparing exactly what you want to offer to the American people. So again, you can criticize the nuances of how the announcement went, but my biggest criticism with it was that there was no video. That's something I just couldn't get past. I mean, if we think about 2015, for example, when President Trump came down that elevator and announced that he was running for president, what is it that we all think in our mind's eye? We can all bring up this picture in our mind at a moment's notice. We see Melania coming down the elevator. We see Trump coming down the elevator. A lot of us probably can't even remember what Trump actually said. What did he say? What did the podium look like? No, we remember his entrance on that elevator. Images are very powerful in our society. We are an image-driven society right now. We're certainly not a society driven by ideas. And so it kind of blew my mind that the DeSantis team didn't have any video accompanying this. Like, for goodness sake, send a video crew. Hi guys, it's Liz Wheeler. Don't forget to watch my show, The Liz Wheeler Show, every night at 7 p.m. on the First TV. You can download the free First TV app, or you can visit thefirsttv.com/Liz and start watching today.